welcome back everyone. So in this one we are going to be addressing the strokes. So last time we have discussed what was it, the textures, now the strokes. So I think you're everybody's enjoying this course. So keep up. Enable that dynamic topology. I should apply this. Dynamic topology doesn't work with most of the what do you call it, the modifiers. So keep that in mind. Going to make this pretty high. I think 100 I know, make this move. So let's go here. We have discussed the texture, now the strokes. So these are the same for every brush, so that's why I'm tackling this first. So let's start with the spacing. So the spacing is the one that we have now. Just going to be detailing the mirror. This is the mirror part. So this is the detail size is pretty low. I think that's why this is acting all weird. Collapse edge is not right to. So I have discussed everything in here, so that's why I'm just clicking stuff here. When it comes to the details, so I'm just going to click here and make this big. Should work. Now we have this, so I'm just going to be showing you the stroke. So the space is simply the space, so it's just going to be spacing dots all over here. So if I go fast, I think not that fast to show you that one. If I put my brush like this, nice. Now we have this. It's just going to be putting strokes in this. So if I increase the spacing, you could see much better. So you see now, if I do this, it will be adding strokes. So I'll enable the screencast to see that it's enabled. So put this down. Now you see that it's just putting strokes in our mesh. Now this few settings, the scene in the view is how the spacing works. It should be straightforward. You should play with this to know it better. Spacing distance is from the view or from the scene, from the object. So ignore this one. Just dash ratio is the same thing as this. So now you see that we have the dash length to 20. If I put this one and do this, put the stroke back to 10. Now you see this. So whenever I do this in my graphics tablet, you see that the strokes are getting very blocky. If I put even this 0.5, it doesn't work. So you have the strokes kind of having this like the time difference between input samples. That's the time difference. So dash ratio, I should probably do some research. I'll come back to you in the next tutorial or something. Jitter is something that you want to keep in mind. If I put this back to 100 and show you this one, so the dots aren't following the line, they're just getting jittered. So if I put this to view, you could just use the view one to jitter it. So this is the same thing about the brush. So input sample is something that you want to keep in mind. This is the one. So if I put this back to 10, so now if I do this, you see that the brush is having hard time to remember my input sample. So let's put this to 0. Now the stroke gets very slow. You see, this is because of this the input sample. It's going to be inputting it's going to be fast when you put the values faster. If you put this 1, then you have faster but low rates. So if I put this kind of cubish stuff here, so if I move someplace around here, shift F, right? Don't worry about this. I'll address this later in the brushes section. So if I put this up, So and go from the strokes, and you see these parts. So now if I go and add a circle, you see that we have this kind of angles. If I do this even faster, you see this angle. So the way is that the input samples is putting this in the this is the resolution. So if I add something like 20, our brush will get slower, but you get very much smooth results. So you find this kind of results. So you have to experiment with these. So stable stroke is something you'd use if you have if you are using a mouse or a small graphics tablet. That's the way I know it is going to be smoothing this. So if you are adding, nice lines, or if you are doing some hard surface, this should be a very good option to keep an eye on. You could do this. So we have two settings. The radius is how far the line is from your stroke. So the factor is if you make this lower, the brush is going to get slower, and it's going to be having this kind of effect that looks like it's stuck. You could use this for something that you are, if you are adding some hard surface stuff like edges, you might need this with combination with some textures. And if you put this line back to there, and if you increase the radius of, you have to, go right far before the first stroke works. If you put this to, way much smaller value, it's going to be even faster brush. So we have stroke methods right here. So the dots are somehow related to this, to the space, but the dots are, if I move my stroke, if I disable the stable stroke, now you have this. So the dots are, how could I show you? Let's make this input sample and put this like this. So if I move it very fast, you see that we are having dots. Never used this before. It's just simple. You just have to lower the spacing of this one to get the dots. Drag in dot is a very cool one. If you want to have a dot on some place, you could just put it here and find this. If you have a logo for texture, you should use this one. Add this. You could drag it around and put it here. You could just put it here. This is how it works. So the next thing is input samples are just the same for everybody, for every stroke. So you airbrush is like an airbrush in real life. If you put something, like if you hold it, like if I put this like this and hold it right here, just put this, you just keep putting some it's better if you see it something like this. So if I put this here and stop my brush, it will keep adding geometry, will keep adding geometry, will keep adding geometry. So I hope you get this. Took me time to remember everything and stuff. So sorry for my if I'm not clear enough. This is some interesting one. So for this one, as I showed you, use a text. We're going to be using a texture. If you haven't watched the texture part, you should go watch it. I recommend you that one. So if I put this, now I can rotate it and add some nice geometries right here. So if I put this and add some features around edge to edge, this is you have some features around here. Now if I put this, and you have seen what happens when I move that one. So this one's going to be using this edge from this edge, from this edge to this edge. That's how it works. But that one is going to be using the center for it's as if the rotation point. Just play with these. Line is straightforward. It's just a line. Should probably disable this one. So we have no texture. Now the line is works like a line. If you have a hard surface, you should probably check this out. If you have for having an organic stuff, I will recommend using this because you are going to be, disabling the field is organic. But if you have, hard surface stuff, just use this. It's very cool, and you have the spacing and everything like that we discussed in the space one, and the curve is pretty interesting. If you have seen the space, you just control and right click. Yeah. Now I'll show you what is happening around here. If I enable the dynamic topology back. So now how can I show you? Control. You should use few shortcuts around here. Control and right click to add a new curve. Control right click and add some kind of interesting shapes like this, and control right click. Now when you click, you'll get this effect. So it's stuck on the view. So you can add this control click it to have the geometry working. So you could just control right click, add new curves like this, and click it, control click to have this kind of effect. And if you go to the settings, it's pretty much simple, except this one is pretty much like the space one. So this part is you can add draw curves and add this draw curves. You could just click this and control right click like this to have this effect, then control click to have it working on your mesh. So it's about it about the stroke. So we'll be going through follow-ups and cursor pretty soon. So keep up.